So again, here's the cover design that they used for the booklet this time. And when you take a look, this is a glossy covered magazine, cardstock for the printing of the cover. All the pages on the inside are a little bit looser. The binding of this, when you take a look at the edge, perfect bound there. It's not a saddle stitch that would use a staple, but all this is glued together, so when they actually break up the pages, things are cutting across. And the first couple pages are dedicated to the sponsors. First, they give the table of contents with all of the directors and the welcome from everybody that's involved in putting this together, but then they go over a series of all the different sponsors that have supported them financially. So when you take a look at these, there's like a couple hundred of them, it seems, of all these different logo designs. And again, just trying to give you the concept of logo design. The better it works as a black and white image, then the better that logo is going to reproduce and be recognizable. So something that gets, I mean, these are good, but they're that style of where it's just a solid piece is going to help out the best. And it's, when you take a look at them all as a group and see which one visually stands out, that's kind of a help. And then it falls into the idea of how it's placed in there. I always felt that the one that had Mitchell's Ice Cream, if you've ever been there or tried that here, they have the letter M with the reversed image with the ice cream cone. So a good example of two images working together as they start. And then once it works as a solid piece, like RTA, for example, take a look at UPS example as a logo, then they can go ahead and start to add things to them. But I'm really not sure, as I look at some of these, what most of them are for. So not only do you have the simplicity of the black and white, but you're also trying to give some ideas to what the organization is about as best you can, just from that symbol. It's not always the case, because sometimes it'll just fall into place after the product or the company becomes well known. But here's a whole slew of these logos, so when you take a look at them from a distance, and usually the first thing that an organization starts with is their logo. And then I just want to share this one Dollar Bank ad. So it is an example I'm going to have you try a little bit of in the animation. Is there's an interior of a movie screen theater, and these chairs that do just that symbol or just that shape repeated gives the feeling of that selection for it. So it's just trying to see that. But again, this booklet, all the paper's kind of thinner, but it does give all the different information. Gives a highlight of every film. Gives a synopsis of each movie brought into that, so I can have that here if you want to take a look at it. But again, just the hardcover, the image for the design. When you take a look at the part that does have a bleed, this cover is like a little off-white, and images like here would be a bleed unless it wraps around the side of it, so it's not getting cut off. But when you take a look at that theme or that color carried through this, up here would be the bleed of the color going off the edge of the page. So just kind of showing you that as a printed piece. Nice thing about going down there is sometimes the directors or people that are in the movie are there, and this is just happens to be a ticket stub, or a bookmark, I'm sorry, from a person that wrote a book, Belkin, who was a promoter for a lot of rock and roll concerts in Cleveland. So they wrote a book about that. They were also in a documentary that they had there. So just trying to give you a little bit of the background that goes into